You ever have one of those moments where you look out at the world you built for yourself, your little patch of peace, your dock, your backyard, whatever it is, and you realize someone's decided it's theirs now? Yeah, that happened to me, and trust me, you couldn't make this story up if you tried. It started with me yelling, "Get off my dock right now," at a woman named Karen Stone, yes. Her real name, right? As she hurled my fishing gear into the lake and parked her mammoth yacht smack in my private boat slip. Imagine watching a stranger toss your memories, your tools, your peace into the drink, all while she treats your sanctuary like the latest upgrade for her floating palace. See, I'm Alex Morgan, 34, and I fix boats for a living at Pine Lake, a pocket-sized community up in the Colorado mountains, 6 cabins hugging the shoreline, each with its own dock. That dock's not just lumber hammered together, it's my haven. I rebuilt engines and patched hulls there, drank 100 quiet sunsets, and whenever life got ugly, I'd cast a line and forget my worries for an hour or two. Then last summer happened, and well, everything changed. Folks still ping me about that video asking if the floating tow truck was real. But let me rewind, because the road to that moment was wild. It was a Tuesday, late June, the kind of day where the lake glassed over and the air hummed with possibility. I'd just finished sweating through a 12-hour shift, fixing an outboard motor, hands caked in grease, back aching like I'd been wrung out. All I wanted was to collapse on my dock with a cold one, just watch the mountains catch fire in the setting sun. That's when I saw it, a 40-foot yacht called Queen's Pride, gleaming like some Roman emperor had decided to squat on my little wooden pier. Gold script across the stern white hull, practically blinding. And there on the dock, this woman, mid-40s, dripping in a swimsuit that probably cost more than my mortgage, methodically chucking my fishing rods, my tackle box, everything straight into the water. My favorite rod, a gift from my old man, vanished below the surface as she grinned, almost daring me to object. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" I tried to keep my cool, but honestly my pulse was racing. "That's my equipment." She spun around, eyes sharp, and just smirked. "Oh, you must be the one leaving all this junk on my dock," she said. "I'm Karen Stone, HOA board member, in this dock. It's way better for my yacht. These old things don't belong here anymore." Then she tossed my father's rod like it was trash. Let me back up a sec. That rod meant something. It was more than fiberglass and line. It was Saturday morning sun on my face, Dad telling me to respect what's not yours. I guess that lesson never reached Karen. She flashed some shiny HOA badge, started talking about authority over all waterfront properties, waving it like a magic wand. While she blustered, I saw her untying my workboat, my business, my livelihood. "That's my workboat," I said, stepping closer. "I need it to run my business." Karen just laughed. "Not anymore. Looks abandoned to me." You know what I mean? The gall of it. She declared she'd found her new weekend spot, told me to find somewhere else for my little boat. She had her custom red BMW X6 blocking my driveway license plate Queen 1, just the cherry on top. When I told her as politely as I could muster that she was trespassing, she just squared off, arms folded, eyes burning, promising to make my life hell if I crossed her. Thing is, she didn't know who she was dealing with. While she rattled on about her connections, I quietly pulled up property records. Turns out Queen's Pride wasn't registered, not even close. There were lake rules about boat size too, and she broke every one. When I pointed this out, she brushed me off, swore up and down that she knew all the rules. That was the moment the game shifted. I walked away that night, but in my head I was already plotting. And the next morning it was like she doubled down. There was Karen hosting a champagne-soaked party on my dock, strangers camped in my chairs, using my outlets, treating my home like their yacht club. I confronted her. She went full drama queen, screamed at 911 that I was attacking her. Her friends filmed, expecting a showdown. Karen clutched her chest, gasped about being in danger, all while I stood 20 feet away holding a coffee mug. 15 minutes later, Officer Bobby Martinez pulled up. The look on his face said it all. He'd clearly met Karen before. He sighed, muttered, "Here we go again," and asked what the emergency was. Karen turned on the waterworks, claimed I was terrorizing her. but I'd come prepared. I showed Martinez security footage of her tossing my gear paperwork, proving the dock was mine, and best part evidence her yacht registration was bunk. The shift was instant. "Ma'am, your yacht paperwork is invalid," Officer Martinez said. "You can't dock here." Karen started yelling about her rights as an HOA member, even tried to call 911 on the officer right there. Martinez warned her one more false report and she'd be arrested. But Karen was too far gone, convinced she was the victim in some vast conspiracy. Then she made her next move, parked her BMW so tight across my driveway nobody was getting through. Her crew snapped photos, probably planning to brag online. But I had my own plan brewing. I called a buddy. "Yeah, I need a special tow job. You'll want to see this." Karen must have caught the tail end, stormed over, threatening lawsuits if anyone touched her car. I smiled, told her I'd never damage her property, but I was thinking 3 moves ahead. That night, as her party wound down, I sat on my porch and waited. Tomorrow would be different. Morning hit, and Karen was back at it, more 911 calls claiming I was stalking her just for walking across my yard. Officer Martinez rolled up again, more exhausted than before. "Ma'am, you can't keep calling 911 over your neighbor being on his own property." By then, the neighbors had started gathering. Turns out I wasn't the only one on Karen's hit list. Mrs. Henderson from next door told stories about Karen fining her over a welcome mat. Mr. Thompson shared how Karen tried to get rid of his bird feeder. One by one, the floodgates opened, garden gnomes, American flags, parking tickets, kids' bikes, you name it. For years, Karen had bullied everyone, hiding behind the HOA, weaponizing rules to torment decent people. That moment when folks finally spoke up changed everything. People volunteered to testify, offered security footage, talked about standing up together. Even as Karen screeched at us for harassment, neighbors just shrugged, phones rolling. The spell was broken. But Karen doubled down, reparked her BMW, this time blocking not just my driveway, but the emergency access to the lake. See, my dock wasn't just private, it was the only access for rescue boats. She was endangering lives, not just being petty. That evening, I made another call. This time, the person on the other end listened real close when I mentioned emergency vehicle access. "We can help," they said. I grinned, knowing tomorrow would be legendary. The sun rose on D-Day dock day, I guess. I nursed my coffee and watched as a giant amphibious tow truck painted canary yellow mountain rescue towing stamped down the side rolled down our private road. Not just any tow truck. This thing had a crane arm big enough to hoist a house, and it could drive right into shallow water. Karen spotted it, shrieked, tried to start her BMW, but the battery was dead from all her plodding with the AC running. The operator, a grizzled old pro, just smiled and started the lift. Karen wailed, tried to bargain, screamed that she was still paying off her car. Neighbors circled up, some clapping, some filming, all of them loving every second. When the BMW was finally swinging over the water, Karen's voice hit a pitch I'm pretty sure made a flock of ducks take flight. Then she tried 911 one last time, claimed they're stealing my car with a boat just as Officer Martinez arrived. He took one look, shook his head, and arrested her for abuse of emergency services. Karen screamed threats. Neighbors cheered, and the floating tow truck drove off, BMW dangling like a big red trophy. After that, everything changed. The video went viral. Neighbors I'd never met came by sharing their own Karen stories. Karen got slapped with thousands in fines, lost her HOA position, lost her car, lost her yacht. The other board members couldn't wait to kick her out. Lake Patrol took Queen's pride away for the bad paperwork. The woman who'd ruled through fear and pettiness was suddenly powerless and broke. The community changed too. Folks put up new decorations, flags, garden gnome stuff Karen used to ban. My boat repair business boomed. People finally felt free to hire me without her scaring them off. But here's the kicker, the twist nobody saw coming. That floating tow truck, I owned it. Built it for my business for stranded cars and boats, but never thought I'd use it for neighborhood justice. Karen's house went up for sale in weeks, couldn't afford the bills, the legal mess, or the reputation. Folks said my dock was the real winner, and I put up a new sign, "Private property, trespassers will be towed by boat." That tow truck's still in my boathouse ready for action, but I hope it never needs to tow another entitled bully's BMW. The real lesson: bullies only thrive when people stay quiet. When we finally stood together, sharing stories, backing each other up, Karen's power evaporated. Pine Lake became a community again, not a kingdom ruled by one angry board member. Justice didn't just show up in handcuffs and court dates, it came in the form of neighbors finding their voice and a floating tow truck hoisting karma high for everyone to see. So tell me, after all that, was I wrong for fighting back? Would you have done the same, or would you have let it slide? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear what justice looks like in your neighborhood.